And greetings. Welcome to Faulkner Fixes All. Yeah, we're going to work on this 81 Huffy. Yeah, the big push on getting furniture is done. I'm kind of back in my element now. It's a cool breeze, nice, cool Friday night out here. It is nighttime, but I just couldn't resist. I got to go out into the shop and do something, have some fun. I'm tired of all the welding and grinding. And those tables were great. The gallery opened up. But now we're on a different level, which is me having a little downtime. And this is my downtime. Okay, so you can't mess up a Huffy. I mean, you can, but it's kind of like people that remodel houses are always saying, and I didn't come up with this, they're always saying, you can't mess up a ranch home. Change the roof line, put some big windows in it, paint the brick, put some pillars in front, do some landscaping, add a small add-on or something out of brick. It doesn't really matter. So an 81 Huffy Good Vibrations is similar to that. You can't really mess up. Okay, let's go through what we're gonna do. I found out, I've always wanted to try this, and since this frame does have freeze damage under here, there was water that expanded in this tube and a little bit on the other tube. And this bike was upside down, and it did take some freeze damage. So, it's already compromised. And maybe this back gusset that I put on here will help it. But there is split right there. There is a tiny rusty split. You can't see it, but it's behind there. So this tube's already compromised. So what do? You drill a hole in the tube. Anyway, this is what we're going to do. I found out that this Schwinn ferrule for 5-speed collegiates and breezes, and any bike with that piece on it. I guess I could show you where this piece goes so you guys know. Any Continental and below bike will have one of these if it has handbrakes, and even the Traveler does have one too. So yeah, these pieces go in here, and I'm kind of mimicking this, but it's gonna be a little different because it's an 81 Huffy. I don't feel bad about this at all. So what we're going to do is, I found out this piece does fit in here rather nicely. And I think maybe with a little epoxy, or we just peen this over a little bit and make it tighter. I'm not going to weld it, but I think that'll stay right in there with the tension of the brake cable on there. I just put it in there and leave it alone. And then that will clear these forks. I already checked. And the back part is going to be what we're working on tonight. The back part is quite dicey. So what I want to do in theory, I want to put this on the top of this tube and weld that on. Since this isn't completely painted already, it's no great loss. We haven't done the yellow speckle thing yet. So what I'll do is I'll drill a hole. Well, first I got to figure out, I want this to stop here like this in the holder. I know it's goofy. It'll have double adjusters. It'll be great. So that'll just stop right there. And I did check with this tube here, with the Schwinn ferrule in here. And if these forks are up where they go, which will be about right there, yeah, it'll be a little tight. I don't think it's going to rub on that because it's going to come up to the bars. I think we're okay here. Brake cables are pretty flexible. And if it touches the top of the fork, it's not going to be the end of the world. You don't want it down below it, obviously. Boom, boom. But I think the spring and the tension on the brake will keep it around there, and then it'll go up to the handlebars. Why they never done this before through the cantilever tube, there's probably a reason. Anyway, hey, let's get to it. We're making big decisions here. First thing we got to do is figure out where we're going to drill this first hole. The first hole, I'm not too worried about how this goes in. That's just drilling a hole down. The first hole that we're really worried about is the hole where the wire is going to go into that tube. And, we just kind of we just got to go for it at one point. Like I say, it's an 81 Huffy. We're just going to go for it. That angle, I'm not too worried about this or this hole. That's going to be right around there. And that seems like it's going to be okay. Let's trim this piece of scrap housing and just make sure that it's going to be okay. Okay, let's check it out. Got plenty of scrap housings. Okay, so, I mean, we're talking like that. Actually, that should be trimmed a little more. Hang on, let me get the trimmers. Hey, hope everyone's doing good. You know, we're kind of back in my element here, having fun. Not too worried about artwork and tables and greeting people and playing nicey nice. And okay, so the brake is compressed. That's like right there. I think that's pretty good. I like that the little bump here. When you do hit the brake, it's going to go down a little bit. I don't think you're going to hit your leg on that. I think we're okay. So I'd say that hole, let's get a Sharpie. I like that hole right where it's at. Let's get a Sharpie. Good thing this frame isn't painted yet. Okay, so we kind of... That's going to go there. The brakes are a little compressed. You guys with me here? Okay, we're kind of seeing what's going on. I'd say that would be pretty safe. And we can always, you know, we can always make the cable housing longer. So let's just make it aesthetically as pleasing as possible. And I'm thinking right there, like that hole, the first hole, should be right here. And the second hole, we're going to angle that. We kind of got to measure the angle. So we're just going to like get a piece of cable and push it through there and see what it looks like. Ow. Okay. Okay. We're just going to get this piece of cable off here. Hang on. Okay, we got a scrap piece of cable. We're just gonna kind of like wing that. We'll put that through. And then we're gonna angle this down a little bit. Like, okay, so if it was going through the frame, oops. If it was going through the frame, where would the hole be? Now we're gonna make the hole a little bit bigger, obviously. And I don't know why people don't do this. There's probably a reason. But oh, that's backwards. Okay, so there's the hole. That's going to be down lower. So if this is here, yeah, we're going to have quite a steep angle there. Yeah. This is really winging it, folks. All right, I'm just going to guess right here. Okay, so this hole right here, we're going to center pin that right now, both holes. And this one we're going to start drilling down, and then we're going to kick the drill over very dramatically so the cable will go through like that. And if it rubs on the inside of the tube, I don't care. That's fine. I'll put some grease in there. Like a giant, it'll be like a giant cable housing. All right, let's get to it, folks. You know, this is how you ruin a Huffy frame. And like I said, it's already compromised, very close to that. So let's just keep going. You know, scientists, they were studying this iceberg and it had a big crack. And they went and got on the iceberg and they drilled a giant core sample right through the crack because they wanted to see what was happening. Anyway, yeah, that kind of reminds me of this. So there is freeze damage right behind here. And what are we doing? We're drilling two big holes right near it. Okay, here we go. Here's the first hole. We don't care. Okay, and we're going to mark the second hole. Okay, but this hole, we're definitely going to start drilling down and then kick it over at an angle. And it doesn't matter if it's a little sharp because the cable is not even going to touch that. Okay, so let's get a little drill first. Isn't this fun, guys? Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's like those scientists going to the iceberg, you know. There's a huge crack. It could end the planet. Let's drill a giant hole in it. Look at it. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so you guys here? Because this is going to be really exciting. Yeah, this is great. Don't do this to your Huffy. Okay, here we go. We're drilling a hole in a cantilever frame. Okay, that's the start. I'm going to get a different bit. I can't believe it. Okay, so we're going to start kicking it over now. Okay. It's actually hitting against here. That might be enough. Looks pretty good. Now, this is going to be just a raw cable going through there. Okay, so let's see what that angle looks like. That's where I'll put the grease in. Just fill this tube full of grease. Okay. Oh yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, something like this. Yes, and that's going to be lower. That's going to be pretty cool. It's almost like we should just do something different on this adjuster. I have another piece I could use. That angle's pretty good. I think if we made that hole a tiny bit bigger. See, I got some of these back. These go on the back of a Schwinn 10-speed. If you're into Schwinn 10-speeds, you know what this is. It goes back here. You know, and it holds the chain guard and the derailleur cable. But you can use them for other things. Yeah, I could just kind of put this in here. Tack it on the top, maybe. It's close. That would look pretty goofy, though. I kind of like this one better. Yeah, definitely work, though. Let's stick to the original plan. Let's drill another hole and shove that down in there. A rusty one that's steel or something. And then we can just tack it both sides. I should clean this up first with the flap disc. My paint job, oh my God. Okay, we're gonna clean that up a little bit. Before I drill the hole, I'm gonna clean a little paint away from here, which is really bad since I've already painted it, but we're gonna get to it. Don't worry. If you're just tuning in, this is how you ruin an 81 Huffy. Okay. Pretty good. All right, now that I've ruined my paint quite nicely, I put a little flat spot on here too. So the tube's already weak anyway. Like I said earlier, it is freeze damage split there, and right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Definitely freeze damage there, and there is some freeze damage here. So what do? You drill holes in it. Anyway, so we're gonna drill a bigger hole here, and then we're gonna angle that one with another drill bit, and then we're gonna tack that. Oh, and I'm gonna have to scuff up the paint to get the ground strap on too. Darn, I didn't think about that when I was painting this. This is kind of a last minute modification, just to be goofy. Okay, so let's drill this big hole. And then we'll shave up that piece, get the chrome off of it, and then we'll just tack it on. Okay, hole number 2. Oh, yeah. Okay. You guys having fun yet? All right, so let's go in. We're just going to go straight down on this one. Okay, and that one, let's angle it in a little better. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Yeah, we'll hit that with the flap a little bit or a file. We should probably do that before, because we won't have the room to get in there once we weld that on. Let's clean that up a little bit right now. Good thing I still got some paint left over. Yeah. Alright, one angled hole, one straight hole. And one messed up paint job. One ruined paint job. Okay, oh, here's a nice rusty metal one. It's kind of big though. The shank of this would be easier to weld, but that's kind of big. Yeah. I'm gonna stick with this chrome one even though it's chrome. Well, see, that's the idea. If that was welded on there, and then this would be here. But we have to weld it in a way that it's cantilevered up. You know, like I have to kick it that way. I'll put up something under there real quick, like a block of wood or something. Yeah, something needs to go under there. Yeah, we gotta hold that up or something. Let me check it with the cable. Not the cable, but the cable, a test cable. And that might be one way to hold it up too while it's welding. We don't care about that cable sheath, it's just some scrap stuff. Yeah, that might be a way to hold it up too. Oops. Okay, something like that. That goes through. If I could really get serious, I could probably put some plastic bushing in here. But if I weld it just right, I don't think it's even going to hit that. You know? Here we go. Went through the other side here. If we weld this just right, and maybe even egg that hole a little bigger, and you know, if it did rub on that, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Maybe a little plastic insert or something. Yeah, if we kick that up, and we just take really careful when we're welding it so that it doesn't move, and maybe egg that hole a little more, then it comes out here. Then this twin Continental Varsity Breeze piece fits on there. It goes in there. That's the idea. I think we're just going to have to be super careful about this angle. Like before I put that in, I think I'm going to do some more massaging with another drill bit. Maybe a really long one that I can get by. See, I should have done the hole like here, but that kind of defeats the purpose. You want it as far as back as you can. That's pretty smooth in there for me running the drill against it. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Like I say, we could put some grease in there. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is find one of these or clean this chrome off each side, and we're going to get in here and we're going to weld it on. I know, it's fun. Let me shut you guys off for a minute, and then I'll get you back when I'm all ready to tack it. And this is just the fitting. So let me shut you guys off. We'll save a little battery power, and we're 18 minutes in. Yeah, we're doing good. This is this is good. Shut you guys off. There's a guy also named Who's Your Cycle. I'll put a link, and it's HOOSIER cycle. Anyway, he does a lot of rat rod stuff, and he has no fear. The guy is just, I'm more of a leaning towards has to be looking a little stock, like even this is kind of painful for me, even though it's an 81 Huffy. Who really cares? But man, the stuff he builds, he's just no fear. These giant shifters and extended forks, and I have respect for his builds. It's pretty cool, and I'm trying to make this one kind of in his league, but it's not, because it's not going to have crazy stuff on it. But I'm going the extra mile, because I think what we're going to do is we're going to put these both in a bicycle museum, when we're older, when we've matured. Okay, let me shut you guys off, and I'll get this ready to weld. Okay, don't try this at home, folks. There's 2 drill bits holding it in where I want it. A big hole here, a little bigger than I wanted. Okay, let's ruin this Huffy good. This drill bit here, this is just a rough guide. I think it'll be good. I think I'm going to take this little one out, and maybe I'll hit it from the other side first. drill bit out of there. It is hot. Woo. Okay, I think I can get the rest of this on. It's really dicey, folks. It is so dicey. You guys still there? Okay. Good. I mean, it's only holding a brake. If it doesn't work, you could die, right? Pretty good. One more little doodah. We got it. Okay. Yeah, that's as far as I want to go on that. We could take the drill bit out and come on this back side a little bit, but there's no way to clean the weld back there. So we're a little bit iffy on that. Yeah, I'll put a little tiny one on there. I can't clean it though. I can't clean the well behind here. Okay, woo! Man, that was dicey. Extreme diciness. Okay. Now, I decided not to use a threaded one on there, and I'll show you why. Because you don't need two threaded. You don't need two adjusters. And this was going to look kind of goofy and maybe catch on your leg or something. So I won't have any adjustment there. And I don't need any. A non-ferruled cable will go in there and the adjuster will be here. You don't need that. And that was kind of bulky looking. And this looks a little cleaner. This hole's a little bigger than I wanted it to be, but it had to be that big so the cable would go through without binding. I tried different sizes. And, you know, it is what it is. The bike is already freeze damage compromised on both of these tubes. And thank goodness it's a cantilever frame, it can handle it. But, yeah, I think we put this little drill bit through, or a piece of wire. You guys can see what's going on here. Yeah. Hopefully I didn't mess up this hole, no? Yeah, that's going to be good. That is going to slide right through there. And it won't catch on anything, really. When that's tight, I don't think it's even going to touch that. The angle is very good. Okay, let's put a scrap piece of ferrule housing and just shove it in here. And we'll clean that up in a minute. And just see, maybe we'll even hook a brake up. I'm not sure. Let's just throw a piece of housing in there. I don't think we're going to really test the brake at this point. I'm pretty confident in my abilities. Man, I wish I could get in there and clean that. I'll try. I'll get a little Dremel or something. Okay, let's put a piece of scrap. Now this is burning hot. It should burn right in here, right? Oh yeah. Let's see here. Oh, that's too big. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. You know, when you're modifying your 81 Huffy good vibrations, you got some good vibrations, you know. Good vibrations. Okay. I'm thinking like here. Yeah. Something like that, maybe a little bigger. Yeah, let's try this. This is just a scrap piece, so I'm just kind of mocking it up right now. This is not going to be the cable on the bike, you know. Oh yeah, we can live with that. Check it. Yeah, I think that will, once that crunches down. Yeah. Maybe a little longer, we'll see. Once it's in action, I can test it. We got some adjustment here. Yeah, it's not bad. This is a little wonky. I don't know what's going on there. Huh. No, that's good. Okay, let's slide just any cable through and see how it's going to go against that. We don't need a real brake cable. This is just to see how it's going to act. Here, I'll put you back up here. Yeah, there's that. Through. I guess we could tension it. I don't feel like cabling it all the way up with a real cable right now because it's still in progress, you know. So what we'll do is we'll just put this through. And of course the end melted. That's great. Okay. Oh, it went through. Okay, it's through there. That's good. It went through there. All right. This is a little melted now. I probably should have waited for this to cool, but I kind of want to see what's going on. I think we're done with the welding. We can get this ground off here. Okay. Okay, this is just a scrap cable thrown in. We're going to put this piece, and I think we're going to pull it with a pair of vice grips and see what it does. See how it acts. Oh, we could put a cable on there too, I guess. Yeah, we're figuring out. Okay, here's the piece right here. Okay, so we got that through. It looks kind of crazy. We're going to put this Schwinn piece on. Here's a piece of cable. And I'm going to slide it in here. And yes, I really messed up the paint job, but that's how it goes. We're not done with it yet. We're still messing with it. Okay, so this is the idea. Yeah, okay, so we're going to pull this with the vice grips and hold the housing and simulate a brake lever. How about that? Okay, and then I guess we'll pull it here, and then I'll put you back here so you can see. Okay, let's see here. I could have hooked up a brake lever. That'd be nice. Okay, that's ready. Oh yeah, we got it. It's not even hitting the frame. Maybe I could tweak that a little. I think we're okay here. I think we're okay. Now watch right here. Might be rubbing a little bit. I might be able to Dremel a little slot in there. Another little slot maybe. You know, it's probably rubbing on this tube also. I think we're going to be okay. I'll put some grease in the tube. I'll put some vinegar in it. Let's put a Sharpie mark here. We'll put a Sharpie mark here and see what's happening. Okay, let's do this. I don't think that's actually hitting. When you look at it this way, I don't think it's actually touching the frame. It's scrunching inside this tube, making noise. I don't think that's actually hitting the frame. I may be inside the tube, but I don't think it's hitting that little spot. Okay, let's undo it and check it out. Alright. Huh, it's not hitting. That is not rubbing there. Huh, look at that. That is not rubbing. The cable is not rubbing where I put that Sharpie. Yeah, it's rubbing inside the tube. Probably, like, I don't know, against that a little bit. It didn't look like it, though, when I was pulling it. It was down low, see? Oh, it's rubbing against there. That's what's going on. It's rubbing against this inside. And we knew that was going to happen. So, yeah. It's all meant to be. It's all perfect planning, yes. Okay, so I'm tired and I've had fun out here. I think what I'll do now is let's pull this back out and we'll gently touch that up with the grinder just to make that a little bit more presentable. Let's pull this back out. And the reason I didn't go, this was just too goofy. You know, this was just too much sticking up, you know, and this, I've got the adjustment here, no problem. So that won't, you know, probably will still catch on your leg, but that's not bad. Let's touch that up with the grinder and call it a night because, yeah, I gotta go to sleep. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I wanted the hole to be a little less obtrusive on that tube, but I don't think it's a big deal. It is a cantilever frame, and they're strong, and they can handle a lot of stuff. Let's put our ears on and give that a little touch. And gloves will be good. So yeah, that was quite a bit of work just to get something funky in the cantilever brake line. But, you know, that's what we do here. We do funky stuff. Okay, it's about as best I can do. Okay, let's have a recap. I think we did all right. I just trying to round this part off a little bit. I can dress it up with a small file too, because I don't want that to be sharp near my leg, near my hand and stuff. So we rounded that up a little bit. There's a fair amount of fine filing. We got to get in there and get that little nub. And we got to make this rounder. And I can't do that with the grinder, but I can kind of come in with a little flat file and mess with it, massage it. The cable did not touch on this sharp stuff here. The cable was rubbing in here, which was, I thought would be, that's probably what's going to happen. So a fair amount of touching up and fiddling before we repaint it. And I think the brakes are going to work fine. And I don't know why. Well, we do know why people don't put brake cables through cantilever tubes, because it weakens it. But this bike was weakened already with the freeze damage. So, you know, did we make it weaker? Yeah. Just call those scientists that drilled that big core sample in the Antarctic ice shelf. There was a big crack. I think it was, oh man, it was called Wendell's Shelf or something. Anyway, they had this huge crack. It was like a giant crack. It was called the Doomsday Iceberg. And so what did the scientists do? They went up there and they drilled a core sample, like a 3 foot, 1 foot diameter core sample, a mile down into the crack. So that's what we made a. This is our Doomsday Iceberg bike. Because there is freeze damage here. I'll turn it over. I'll let you see the damage. It is freeze damage from sitting upside down with water. It happens. Let's see if we can find it here. Yeah, it's right here. I'll get a light. So there's no great loss here. We did, it's right in there. You see that bump? That bump. Well, hang on. There's a bump right here, and it split out from the bike sitting upside down with water in it. And there's one here too. Oh yeah, I can show you this one easy. And of course that bump is right where we drilled the hole, because that's what we do. Anyway, there's another one. It's right, I don't know if you can pick that up. It's right in there. There's a little bump. The bump, yeah, it's right here. And that's freeze damage as well. And this freeze damage is located here. And our hole we drilled is right there and here. So we didn't actually drill the hole near it's about an inch either direction from the freeze damage hole. Just call the scientists. They'll tell you about the iceberg and how they didn't damage it and stuff. Yeah, it's all good. We're going to drill 3 mile core sample right on the crack and study it. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Hey, you guys have a great evening, and we'll get back to this. I think we did pretty well. We could cable this up right now, but since somebody ruined the paint, it's got to be touched up. And I'm going to do the yellow dribble speckle thing anyway on this. That's not bad. The cable went in there and it didn't even rub that away. We're okay. I think we're going to be okay. It is a cantilever frame, and I think it'll be strong. If not, we'll do something else. Put a coaster brake on it. Okay, so the shifter is not going to be crazy. I want to be like Hoosier Cycle. I want to be like him, but I just can't do the giant shifter. We'll do something funky. Probably just a 5-speed Schwinn with a little bracket. I don't know how we're going to do it, actually. We got to come around with the 5-speed and maybe a little. There's a bracket, a chrome bracket you can put on there. You probably have to put it on here, though. It's going to be maybe a special bracket. Yeah, but it'll just come down and clamp onto the frame with the clamps, and then come back to here. I'll figure out something. It's not going through the frame, that's for sure. Okay, that boat has already sailed. Yeah, we got one with the frame cable. We're good. Hey, Faulkner Fixes Off. This is the stuff you like to see. This is what I do when I'm not toiling away making furniture. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. We might even have a live feed tomorrow because we're having so much fun with this. It's fun cutting into Huffies and ruining them. It's great fun. Hey, don't feed the negative. Think good thoughts. See you later. Bye. Later.